world domination plan map over here. 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Beards and Beers. I am Todd, and with me as always is G. And today we have a very, very special guest joining us from cold Chicago, Illinois. Welcome, Allison Chen. How are you, Allison?
Hey Todd, I'm good. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on today.
Excellent. So, Allison, to give people a little bit of background, you and I met probably back in the summertime, July, August, that time frame, when you were actually an intern here at Oracle. And currently you are attending, if I'm not mistaken, UCLA, and this is your senior year, and you're involved in all kinds of clubs and organizations. Tell everybody a little bit more about who Allison is.
Sure, yeah. So this is actually my third year at UCLA. I'm currently studying computer science. And yep, I was an intern at Oracle this past summer, working remotely. And a little bit about me, I really am excited about technology and about the integration of it into people's lives. I think there's so many different ways to use tech and software to make people's lives better, and that intersection is really what excites me, and I think that's what really helped me connect with you, Todd, because you do a lot of stuff that just brings technology to people and not just furthering technology for the sake of it, but really applying it to make people's lives better. So I think that's something for me I'm really interested in, something I'm exploring in different ways through clubs. So I've worked on some projects at school where I've been able to have hands-on experience with things like that. Outside of technical things, I'm really involved with the Society of Women Engineers on campus, so really about promoting like diversity, inclusivity within engineering, and it's not just about gender inclusivity for us. Like we really do our best to focus on any type of like minority inclusivity because it's pretty common, especially in engineering. So just making people aware and putting out efforts to include people.
So I saw on your website you said something about First Lego League, and I found really cool because my kids were also involved in that, and I actually mentored a little bit. So is that kind of where it started with you?
Yeah, I would say so. I joined a First Lego League team when I was in 5th grade, and it was actually through my Girl Scouts troop. So we were sponsored by Motorola to basically start this team. They had this whole initiative to get like girls in tech. It was so much fun to be able to kind of be given a problem to me, and how you solve it is completely up to you. You know, you have this goal, but how you go about it and how you come up with the best way is entirely like a creative process that's up to you. And I think another part of the program with First Lego League was it's not just like the robotics component, but every year they have this like project component where like it's your goal as a team to identify a problem that you guys care about and then like come up with a solution to it. And I thought that part was incredibly exciting.
If you had like endless funds and endless resources, like just someone gave you a blank check and said, Allison, do whatever project you think needs to be done, what would that project be?
I honestly think the first thing that I would want to do with that is find a way to provide just like basic human resources to the people that don't have it. I guess that's not too much like giving them tech, but I feel like before you have, you know, a sense of security of where your food's coming from, where your water's coming from, like you're not really going to be able to enjoy things that we enjoy with tech today. So I think my first step would be using that money to bring people just to like what we would consider like a basic standard of living, but for us, like, you know, in the US that's a luxury compared to the rest of the world in some places. So okay, I could go on for hours about this, but I think especially now in America with like lower income communities, it's a lot easier just to go with like what's cheap and what's fast. And like, you know, nowadays a lot of processed foods can be really, really cheap. And that's like, you know, if you have to debate whether between like not having food or having like cheaper food, you're obviously going to bring cheaper food. So I think my next thing would be putting in money to develop programs and using tech somehow to help this food processing become like less processed in a way and more like wholesome.
I saw something just yesterday on Reddit, I believe, about the ridiculous cost of healthcare in the United States, and how basically it boils down to some people are forced to make the decision of do I want to buy my medicine this month, or do I want to buy food this month? So for me, if I had like that blank check, I would try to solve the healthcare issue first and the resources and access to medicine, and then, let people focus on using their existing resource, their existing money on the basic necessities of life. Because I think it's just a travesty that some people are forced to make the decision of, do I need insulin this month or do I need food this month? And I think if we could solve that problem, in my opinion, I think life becomes a little easier everywhere else.
So I would like to ask Alison about her next steps. Once you finish UCLA, what do you have in mind? What did you enjoy the experience in Oracle? It's like, what would you like to see? This was great in Oracle. This was not so great. This is something we can improve. Because we like to hear the feedback of good and bad things and see how we can fix those things in the company.
Yeah. I absolutely loved my experience at Oracle. I think I didn't really know going into it like really what to expect, because it was really my first like industry experience. But first, like, I think me working with my manager, he was incredibly supportive, and I didn't have any experience working industry. So, just kind of getting used to that like work environment and culture definitely took a while, but he was like so patient and was always like, yeah, do you have any questions? Like, definitely checking in on me. And I think I especially appreciated that because it was remote. And so a lot of times, when you're just like working on your own, it's easy to be like, oh, I should be able to figure this out, or like, I don't really need help. I don't want to bother someone, but then just knowing that like he really was there in case I did get stuck. And, it's not like, oh, I'm facing an issue, I just go directly for help. But, after you try a little bit, you figure out like exactly why you're getting stuck, and like when you can't get any further, then like that's when you go. And I think that's something that I really learned through this internship. I think one of my favorite parts too was anyone that I messaged on Slack and I was like, hi, I went to an event where you were speaking or something, and it sounds really interesting what you're doing. Could we just chat and talk more? Like, everyone, no matter what position they were in the company, they were like, absolutely, let's schedule a time. And they would give me like 30 minutes or whatever, and we would just chat about what they do. And I think that kind of environment and culture was definitely something that I really loved. That, I was just an intern, like I have no power or anything, but they were just so willing to spend 30 minutes of their day and talking with me about what they do and just answering my questions. And I think that was just one of the best things.
I'm going to get in trouble. And I'm going to say that one of the things I think that we should improve in the internship program is not just an Oracle program. I think we should bring our partners, ISVs, and expand that ecosystem.
Yeah, that would be super awesome. I think also from I guess like a tech intern perspective, I feel like a lot of my exposure was just within like developers and like software engineers. So I think getting to see like, I guess a little bit more of like the business side and the relationship side of the company, that would be really awesome.
Well, I think we're kind of getting close to our limit on time here, but I want to once again thank you very, very much, Alison, for joining us. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and really glad that we got a chance to keep in touch after your internship. Just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. What you're doing is awesome, especially as it relates to, women in technology and minorities and people of color, and just that amazing work that you've been doing, I think is totally necessary. I support it 100%. And again, keep writing code. Hopefully you'll end up at Oracle at some point in the future, but if you don't, I know you're going to do amazing things. So thank you so much for joining us. And G, any last words?
I'm thinking I will replace Alison with you. The next one will be Alison and G.
Well, yeah,
no pressure.
She definitely would be great to join you, G. So I would not.
Awesome.
I think I need the beard though.
No, we could figure out some kind of. We could figure some new name. I'm sure G would help you out with that. So, well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk to everybody next time.